Hey, just Wooly coming in. Well, apparently, our terrorist government and DoD Cybercom are very threatened by this news article because, in very short order, they performed a web attack and ripped this page down in regards to Ranchers Opposed Malheur County Monument designation, which is actually the centerpiece of why 300 to 400 ranchers in Oregon are facing complete destruction due to our treasonous, tyrannical government land grabs, which the BLM will be enforcing. So here is the article that I had linked and screencasted. All right, let's take a look. Oh, page not found. We're sorry that you have a terrorist communist government now doing web attacks to remove pages that are damaging to their criminal operations. It's just like I told you in DoD Goes Public on their cyber communism. In fact, I'm going to roll that into the end of this video, and I know a lot of my newer subscribers haven't seen this tried and true information. So if you want to see how things roll, watch this. But first, I saved via screencast the main body of all the text on this page before they ripped it down. So let me slow it down, zoom in, and roll that for you, seeing as they find it so damaging that in short order, DoD Cybercom performed a web attack on this and removed the page. So enjoy reading what the government doesn't want you to see.
Thank you all. First of all, thank you, Admiral Rogers. We count ourselves very lucky to have you in charge here, and we count ourselves very, very lucky to have each and every one of you I see in front of me. I've been learning some today about getting really updated on the development of Cybercom and also NSA, the two magnificent institutions.
So what I wanted to see is if you could give me a yes or no answer to the question, does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
The National Security Agency is keeping track of the telephone records of millions of Americans.
Britain's Guardian newspaper obtained a copy of a secret court order authorizing the data collection. The document shows the information is being collected indiscriminately and in bulk. Major Garrett is at the White House. Major, good morning.
Well, good morning, Nora and Charlie. Confirmation this morning from the Obama administration that surveillance powers, sometimes sweeping, sometimes indiscriminate, authored after 9/11.
They were... What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing. Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here. Oops, this photo wasn't supposed to be in here. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal. I like this next picture a lot. It's photos like these that mean the most to me.
The National Security Agency is keeping track of the telephone records of millions of Americans.
Carried out by the Bush administration are now being carried out, possibly with more vigor by this administration.
That should tell you something about how vital the mission is that you all have taken on. Cyberspace is presenting us with some of the most profound challenges.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war. I'll be very blunt in my assessment. And unfortunately, we are paying a big price for it. And our private media cannot fill that gap. In fact, our private media, particularly cultural programming, often works at counter purposes to what we truly are as Americans and what our values are. Our private media, particularly cultural programming, cultural programming.
The President had a cybersecurity summit a few weeks ago, in which you could see that our national leadership at every level is really seized with the need to get on top of this problem.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
And that means we need to build bridges to society, bridges that aren't as necessary in other fields of warfare that don't have a civilian or a commercial counterpart to the extent that this field does. But we need to be open to new ideas. We need to be open to people. We can't always tell them what we're doing, but we need to be open enough with our government so that it knows what it's doing, so that its officials can in turn turn to our people and say, I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. You wouldn't want me to tell you everything.
The National Security Agency is keeping track of the telephone records of millions of Americans.
But you should trust that your senior officials and your elected officials and so forth are acting on your behalf. And I think we do have that trust.
I've told my administration, we're going to look every single day to figure out what we can do without Congress.
Let me make one last point, and this is something that you all know, but it's important to remind our fellow citizens, and for that matter, the rest of the world. And that is, we build our cyber mission force as the kind of country we are to defend the openness of cyberspace, to keep it free.
Oops, this photo wasn't supposed to be in here. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal.
Unfortunately, you've grown up hearing voices that incessantly warn of government as nothing more than some separate, sinister entity that's at the root of all our problems. They'll warn that tyranny is always lurking just around the corner. You should reject these voices.
Hillary Clinton has described already the meeting in the White House over 2 years ago. Everyone in the national security team recommended arming ISIS, and the president.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. More Sunni volunteers are coming forward. Some are already being trained, and they can be a new force. I'm the leading state sponsor of terrorism.
You have reached the Federal Bureau of Investigation's public access line. This call may be recorded or monitored.
Hello, this is Justin Hess with the U.S. Department of Counter-Tyranny Operations. The following information can be verified with a simple Google Internet search, so any failure to act upon this information will be seen as gross negligence. All you need to do is Internet search Obama admits to training terrorists. Ma'am, this is not a prank call. You just need to do the research, ma'am. Well, there's your gross negligence.
The FBI joined forces with our intelligence, military, and homeland security professionals to break up al-Qaeda cells, disrupt their activities, and thwart their plots. I'll say it as clearly as I can. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. Countless Americans are alive today, and our country is more secure because of the FBI's outstanding work under the leadership of Bob Mueller. All the while, Bob and the FBI have been tireless against a whole range of challenges, from preventing violent crime and reducing gang activity, including along our border.
A report revealing 68,000 illegal immigrants convicted of a crime were released in the United States instead of being deported.
Amnesty is the immigration system we have today.
Well, you have to admit, this is disturbing. The Obama administration admitting to giving a known gang member amnesty to stay right here in the United States. And then a year and a half later, that same known gang member arrested for murder of America's top model contestant. So why was the known gang member given amnesty to be here in the first place?
The town overwhelmed by a surge in illegal border crossings.
How did we get to where we are today?
Every 72 hours, Department of Homeland Security buses bringing another 120 illegal immigrants, many of them quickly released into the community.
You are not following the law. You are breaking the law.
And I remain loyal to you, Mr. President.
My next guest, a former Secret Service agent, while he's seen it all, is now sounding the alarm and saying that what goes on behind closed doors at this White House is actually much worse than any of us can imagine. Here to explain is the man himself, author of the brand new book, Life Inside the Bubble, Why a Top-Ranked Secret Service Agent Walked Away from It All. Dan Bongino, how are you, sir?
Doing great.
Good to see you.
Sean.
And you know what? I wear the Secret Service pin every night. It's the most highly coveted pin there is. Everyone wants one. How long are you Secret Service agent? 12 years, right?
12 years, that's right.
So you served 3 presidents, Clinton, Bush, and Obama.
And Obama, that's right.
Why do you say this White House is worse than people know? That's scary. That's ominous.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean to frighten people, but I do have to sound an alarm. It's become a system. This White House has taken patronage and, more importantly, punishment to the next level. Let's be honest, there's always been patronage, although with their Cylindra scandals, I think they've taken that to the next level. The dangerous part, and what I want to sound the alarm on, is the punishment system. You know, Sean, government is a weapon.
And if you look at what the Department of Homeland Security has been purchasing over the last year, it comes out to like 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition.
That's enough bullets to supply the equivalent of the Iraq War for 24 years. This is our government buying up bullets to use against us.
More than 7,000 fully automatic assault weapons, 2,700 MRAP-type vehicles, and now drones. Those are instruments of war. Department of Homeland Security's, who are they going to fight a war against?
Dr. Brzezinski, I want to start. You're a member of an exclusive club of national security advisors to presidents.
And somebody who I've learned an immense amount from, and for him to support me in this campaign and then be willing to come out here to Iowa is a testimony to his generosity. So if everybody could please give Dr. Brzezinski another round of applause.
And these new and old major powers face still yet another novel reality, in some respects unprecedented. And it is that while the lethality of their power is greater than ever, their capacity to impose control over the politically awakened masses of the world is at a historical low. I once put it rather pungently, and I was flattered that the British Foreign Secretary repeated this, as follows. Namely, in earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people, literally. It was easier to control 1 million people than physically to kill 1 million people. Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. It is easier to kill than to control. And of course, that bears directly on the use of force.
And if you look at what the Department of Homeland Security has been purchasing over the last year, it comes out to like 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition.
That's enough bullets to supply the equivalent of the Iraq War for 24 years. This is our government buying up bullets to use against us.
More than 7,000 fully automatic assault weapons, 2,700 MRAP-type vehicles, and now drones.
Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people.
Department of Homeland Security's, who are they going to fight a war against?
This is our government buying up bullets to use against us.